welcome back to the Mancalorians Star Wars podcast. This is episode 9, nearly at 10 now. I'm your host, Jordan, and as always, I'm joined by my good friend and co-host, Aaron. Aaron, how are we, sir?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good. Hang on a minute. Where's the red light? What's going on here?
One sec.
Where's the dark side gone? Hey, look at that, ladies and gentlemen.
Smooth.
Brilliant. Well, yeah, good. Just before we get stuck into the episode with our breakdown of episode 6 of The Acolyte, if you are watching us on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Leave your comments in the comments section below. You can also get in touch with us via email at themancalorians@gmail.com. If you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you can also listen to us. Give us your thoughts. Please follow us or subscribe to us, whatever it may be. We really do appreciate it. You can also follow us on all the socials at the Mancalorians. Sorry.
Same. Well, it's all about you. It's all about you.
I know, half of us. That was greedy. The Mancalorians. Just search the Mancalorians everywhere, any social, any kind of video, audio platform, and we will be there. And as always, all the links to our socials and whatnot are always in the description below. So yeah, get following us. So, episode 6. We've got 2 episodes left of The Acolyte. Episode 6 was a bit of a quiet one this week. It was a good episode. I really enjoyed it. Still quite a bit to go through. I think I've got some good notes. It was always going to be hard to top last week, episode 5. I don't think that'll ever be topped, but I think we're ready now for a big finale, and then I think the last 2 episodes will be there'll be a lot going on. But yeah, what did you think?
Do you know what? I think compared to the episode before, like you said, it's going to be hard to be topped, and I think because of that, it's quite forgettable. So I probably should have watched it again. I kind of remember some key points. I don't remember anything that much. It was good. I enjoyed it. It was. I wouldn't put it down as much of like a filler episode. I feel like it was a bit better than like a filler episode.
Yeah,
it was a bit more context.
Yeah.
More relationships with the characters, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I thought some of the acting was outstanding. I thought it was a pretty good story building episode, and like you say, it was a little bit more than a filler episode, even though not a lot happened, but quite a lot was in it, and you probably need to watch it maybe 2 or 3 times to fully grasp everything. I've only watched it once, but I've took quite a few notes, got quite a few screenshots, some of them myself, some points that some people have seen that I've made that we can go through.
Do you not think though that when you're watching something, because obviously when I was back at uni and I was doing my filmmaking course, right? Do you not think that when you're watching something to analyze it, you end up like missing like the whole point of it, so you lose like the fun of it. So what I used to do is I'd watch something and then I found myself just like going, oh, that's a weird shot. Oh, surely you can't do that shot. That breaks this rule. And oh, that's a really nice shot. I like how they've done that. And like, even though I still do that now, I try to push myself or pull myself away from that like analytical thinking to the point where I can actually sit and enjoy something and be like, I love that shot, but I know what it is and I love it. But I think like, obviously you said you were taking notes, right? And you were taking like screenshots. Did that not take you away from watching it?
Well, I always do it after. I never do it during an episode. I never do it on the second or third. I mean, if I watch something 2 or 3 times, then I might do it during the second or third watch. But yeah, so far with The Acolyte, all my notes have been pretty much after one viewing, and then I've kind of gone on Twitter, read a few things, did a bit of research, and then I start taking notes, screenshots, and obviously picking out points we can go through. That's how I do it. I assume a lot of critics do it like that. Maybe they don't. I don't know. But yeah, that's what I do, because like you say, I want to be able to enjoy it. I don't want to just like analyze every little thing every 10 seconds. But it's, I don't mind doing that second or third watch because I've obviously already watched it. And,
I agree with that. Yeah, that's the best. I think that's the best way. It's similar to like breakdowns of trailers. Like
yeah,
I hate watching people break down a trailer, and they break literally just you don't watch the trailer. Like watch the trailer, give me your thoughts, then break it down. I like those kind of reviews on trailers and stuff.
yeah, I agree. So where should we start? Should we start with the unknown planet, which we've
Oh
never?
yeah, Acto that you kept
So
saying.
yeah.
Yeah, still unknown.
Well, is it unknown?
I
It's
know.
not
Well,
unknown to me. I don't
I
think.
was thinking, could the Pogs evolved that quickly in 100 years?
Yeah, they're called the those little duck things. They're called. We did a post about this the other day. Skooker, something like that. Yeah, they're based like the Star Wars ducks. We'll call them.
Swooks.
Yeah, what are they called? It's gonna annoy me now. Let me search it quickly.
I liked them though. They definitely made an imprint on my mind.
Yeah, for
Feel like we
sure.
need more of them.
What did you think of the fact that it was an unknown island? That it actually said unknown island. Do you think? Why do you think they didn't tell us where what it is? What your thoughts on
No
that?
idea why. I don't know. But at when it did it, I thought, ha! You don't know it's Acto just yet. But
Yeah,
what I will say is, right, the screenshot of the ship when it landed, I remember I was like, that ship landed. I watched like 3 or 4 people walking off that ship. I swear to God, on the screenshot, there's like 3 people walking, and I kept staring at it, right, and looking at the rocks. And I thought, were those people or were they just spiky rocks? Like I couldn't work it out.
are you sure? I don't remember seeing people.
Let me have a quick look now. But I swear to God, like
Yeah, right.
I'll go on the TikTok now and I'll have a quick look. But
Excuse me.
I'm sure because I even put it like it's two on our TikTok. It's over 2 images, so you can scroll and because I zoomed in on it. But yeah, I'm pretty positive. Oh, where is it? Let me mute this so that I don't pick it up. Oh no, I don't want an update. Yeah, I swear there was like 4 people walking. I remember zooming in and I was adamant. I brought it up on one of the images when we were talking about it, and I was adamant it was. Okay, that's strange. I don't know why that's on the feed. Uh, see which one it is. Part 3. Let's have a look. I don't think it's under part 3. No, part 2 it'll be. Not that one. That's
Part one.
part 2. I'm pretty sure it's on part 2. Right, it's part 1. Yeah, you're right. How did you know that?
uh, Jedi powers. Jedi powers.
I swear, if you look right on the right, I can't even show you because but can you see there? There's like 4 little notches.
Yeah, I don't think it's people. It
Oh,
wouldn't make sense for it to be people, but
no, I don't think it is. But when I first looked at it, I was like, they're people, but it looks like a fence or something. Like it looks like fence posts. Like they're bigger than all the rocks. It doesn't make any sense to me. But then anyway, when I seen it, and I was like, man, they're just rocks. And now I'm even
yeah,
more sure they're just now that I've properly zoomed in and I'm looking at them and I've put them 2 and 2 together. It just looks like rocks now.
yeah. I'm just looking at it now. I took a screenshot actually. I know what you mean though. I've found the Star Wars docs, the Acolyte docs. They're called Skura, Skura.
Hmm.
That's what they are. Skura.
Skura.
Yeah.
Skura. Kind of
Uh,
sounds like Skora from Star Wars Hunters, and she's got like a long nose, even though she's a Rhodian.
interesting. So the unknown planet is not Acto. Leslie Headland, the creator of Acolyte, did a interview a couple of days ago. Could have been yesterday, the day before. It's now Friday, so we're 1 or 2 days after post episode 6. Leslie did an interview with Collider, and she confirmed that the unknown planet is not Acto, but she didn't say what it was. But do you want me to tell you?
No.
Okay, we'll skip that bit. So
I like a surprise.
Yeah. So you don't want me to tell you?
I mean, am I gonna? Is it something we know already?
It's something I found out. So have you read the
No,
Dark
but I mean,
book?
I've not read it. No.
You've got it though, right? I don't have it. Right. Okay. So it came out in 2012, and it's from the planet was mentioned. It's an ocean planet, and it was mentioned in that book, I believe. And it's called Baldemnik. Baldemnik is the planet. You might have heard of it.
Baldemic.
Well, it's BAL apostrophe DEMNIC. Baldemnik, whatever you want to call it.
I feel like these names for planets, that's like if you had a friend, yeah. And he was called Michael, and he had no hair. That's what his nickname would be. He would be Bald Mick. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just like the same way that George Lucas got the name for Obi-Wan's planet from being on that show.
Oh yeah.
Stu John.
Brilliant.
It was like John Stewart or something at the show. Like the interview was called, and he was like Stu John. I was like, what? Like Bald Mick, man.
Bald Mick, yeah. It was like the oh god, what's the in one of the Senate scenes in A Phantom Menace where we see a cameo from E.T. You know, there's like a few E.T.s. I only found this out like a few months ago.
I don't think that's mad.
I've never known. I know it's
how.
Unreal. I can't believe I've never noticed it before. And George Lucas kept their name is something like Spielberg spelled backwards. Because obviously Lucas is good friends with Spielberg. Steven Spielberg, yeah. So it's like, oh my god! So all these names that he comes up with, it's just genius. It's just like crazy, genius, but so simple.
I don't know if that's genius though. I don't know.
I do. I think it's brilliant. He's done loads like that. I think it's brilliant. Like who else comes up with that? No one else does that.
Did you ever do the name generator? It's like you take the first 3 letters of your last name and the last 3 letters of your first name, and you merge them, and that's your Star Wars name.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure creators and filmmakers are doing the Star Wars generator to come up with the names. They might be, I don't know.
I'm sure
there's a few different generators.
There you go. You must take the first 3 letters of your last name. Wait, the first 3 letters of your last name. So that's like mine would be Ken. And then you must take the first 2 letters from your first name. So mine's like Kenar. That would be my Star Wars name.
Kenar? What would mine be?
Yours would be Rob Joe.
Rob Joe? Well, that's rubbish.
Rob Joe.
That is rubbish.
Yours sounds like an actual Star Wars name, though. You know, like you've got someone you mate who's called Joe. You don't quite like him, and he's stolen something from you. He'd be Rob Joe. Do you know what I mean? That's how you'd get your name.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. Probably would be how I get my name. So the planet Baldemnik is so it has rich. So big shout out to Wikipedia for this. Rich deposits on the planet of Cortosis, which obviously, as we know,
okay.
The stranger Qimir's helmet is full of Cortosis, and he's also got the things on his arms as well, the little gauntlets, which are made.
He's only got one. On his left, I think it is.
I swear he's got one on his right as well.
Nah, I'm pretty sure it's only on one.
Ah, there you go. He's got one.
Can't be that rich then.
And in the book, the Plagueis book, Cortosis from this planet, Baldamnik, fell into the hands of Sith Lords Darth Tenebrous and Darth Plagueis. Master and apprentice right there. So, is there a link between Qimir and those two? Obviously, we mentioned those two names weeks ago. Could they be involved in the Acolyte? Obviously, we think there's going to be something involved with the Knights of Ren, like an origin story here with Qimir being Ren. But yeah, what are your thoughts around that?
Interesting. I kind of still go back to that thought process you had. So originally, I didn't want anyone new to come in. I was like, it's going to be Qimir. And when it was, at that moment in time, when they revealed it to be him, that's when I was like, man, I wish it would have been somebody else, right? So if Qimir ends up being one of them, I would be a bit like, man, why? Like, then he is a Sith, and I just think, ugh, I'd rather him not be. Just so that people don't have to be like, canon this and canon, like, breaking canon. Like, at this point in the stage in time, I'm like, do you know what? I either kill off all the Jedi, yeah, that know about him, which is just Sol at this point in time, and Osha, despite her not being a Jedi, but you know what I mean, on the light side of the Force, like, kill him off, and then he can be a Sith and he can be hidden, or he isn't one, which I'd rather him not be one and him just be. I read something the other day actually. We'll go back to what you're talking about, but just on your thought, I would like to hear your thoughts, your quick thoughts on this. And it was, do you think, damn,
Brilliant.
it's just got out of my head.
You can't even blame me for that. You can't even blame me. I was silent.
It's gone, I had it. What was I talking about? What was I saying?
You said you were reading something.
Saying or reading something about Sol and Qimir killing everybody, and Sol, like, if he were to die, I can't remember. It's gone. If it pops into me, I don't remember it. But yeah, it was. I can't remember now. It's bugging me now. I really wanted to ask you that question.
But it wasn't even my fault.
Man, it was such a good segue into it as well, and I've just.
I didn't interrupt you or anything.
I know, thank you. I know, and I still messed it
up. Yeah, so that's that. The Cortosis, I think it's like, from what I'm reading, it sounds like that planet is like where it's from, basically. So interesting.
Would you want it to be one of the two characters or not? Plagueis or Tenebrous?
Yeah, why not? One of them.
Why?
I don't think it makes sense because there's not really a link between the Sith and the Knights of Ren, is there? And this is, to me now, it's so obvious that it's like a Knights of Ren origin story.
Yeah.
So it would make sense for there to be an actual Sith to be involved. I don't think. I'm not sure, but like I said from the start, weeks ago, I want completely new characters. I want it to be, but again, this is kind of tied into Skywalker saga now, really, isn't it? The sequels, if it is a Knights of Ren origin story, which is fine, by the way, it's fine. I've still really enjoyed it, but
I don't think it does.
Why not?
It's the same because it'd be the same as saying lightsabers are tying into the Skywalker saga, only because, like, there's one person, Kylo Ren, who's part of the Rens, like the Knights of Ren, like,
yeah,
huh?
He's the leader.
Yeah, well, only because he's like, yeah, well, you know what I mean, like, only because he's one character that's in it, he ties him in. So realistically, the Knights of Ren weren't even in any of the films. I know they're in the last one, but, like, they weren't really in it. You don't get anything from them. You just see them. doing a bit of fighting and then they're gone. Like it's nothing. Whereas I like this idea of him being somebody new. I really hope that it's not Tenebrous. I really hope it's not Plagueis. I, I think I like the new things. I'd like Qimir to be somebody new. I'd like him to. I'd like that story, the Knights of Ren story. I'd like them to do more of it and like pull away from the Skywalker saga, like we were saying weeks ago.
Yeah. Well, I think he's Ren. I think he's the first Knight of Ren. That's the direction that it's going in. If it isn't, then it wouldn't make sense for them to put Kylo Ren's theme in Episode 5 at the end. Just would not make any sense to do that whatsoever. And like Leslie Headland said as well, sorry, in the same interview that I spoke about before a few minutes ago, she said that was done. We'll probably get into it later, but that was done deliberately, and it is the Kylo Ren theme that you can hear. So
right, okay,
it has to be a Knights of Ren origin story. It has to be.
You just answered my question. That was my next question.
What was your question?
My question is, how do you know it's actually that? It sounds vaguely similar, but you've just
yeah.
That wasn't a question I wanted to ask before, though.
Well, don't blame me. Hopefully, it comes back to you.
Yeah. Hopefully, if I can find the trail of what I was talking about, I might be able to like catch up to those little breadcrumbs. But I think it's gone, to be honest.
It'll come back.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Well, apart from what I wanted to ask you.
What else caught your eye? What else?
Well, I tell you what I did read, right? And this is going back to like people moaning about things that they don't know, right? And that you know what? Look what Star Wars has done. I seen a video, right? Someone took like a video of a guy of Star Wars and like added some memes to it and was like, oh, look at this, like whatever the meme was, I can't remember, but added a meme to it, right? Like a sarcastic meme. And then shown Qimir headbutting a lightsaber and then like blocking it with his arm. And I was like, wow, mate, like people that are just, like I was saying, they jump on the bandwagon, they don't do research, and they grasp at straws, like literally just grasping for things. The comments, I read some of the comments, and people were like, Cortosis has been around since like the 90s, like it's been there, like it's been around. But again, people don't read, people don't do research, and that's fine. But if you're introduced to something new, learn about it. You did, right? So I knew about it because I read the books.
Yeah.
When you were introduced to it, you were like, oh, what is this? I'll go and find out. And you went and found out, right? Now, there's nothing, if people don't like something, and that's absolutely fine, but how you go about things is what matters. Like how you put your point across is what matters, and that's what I keep going back to all the time about people being toxic, about how you kind of approach a situation.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into it too much. Hopefully, we'll talk about it later on. But yeah, there's just, I think some people now are just clutching, like literally for argument's sake now. Just
yeah, they are. And they're trying to bomb. Well, they have done. They've successfully bomb reviewed the Acolyte on like Rotten Tomatoes and things like that. People are just doing it for a laugh. They're just doing it to bring the scores down and the ratings and reviews, and they're trying to get people to not watch it and hate it, and it's just silly. If you don't like it, then fair enough, but you don't need to do stupid things like that. Like, have you not got any more time in your life than to go on a website and give a bad score on purpose, even though
I was thinking about this the other day as well.
That's what people do. That's what they did it with the prequels. People jumped on the bandwagon. Like they hated it just to hate it. They probably didn't even watch it. They just read something or they heard some guy say it and they were like, right, I'm gonna bomb review it. And I was like, have you not got anything better to do with your life than that? If you don't like it, then fair enough. You're entitled to not like something, but come on.
Like I mean, my life, if we could do Star Wars for the rest of my life, I'd love that, right? But if like it's not my life, like it's not my life. The actors, it's not their life, like it's part of their life, right? So I'm not gonna use all my emotional energy up on Star Wars. Like if there's things I don't like, I'll just not like them. Maybe that's just because, you know, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm getting old, but I think.
We're
But
mature adults now.
yeah. Well, I'm in that mature category on X Factor now. Do you know, when back in the day when you were young,
What
you're like,
age?
they're so old.
What, what age group was that?
Just like 24 or 26.
Oh, it was like 28 onwards. You're 29. I'm 30 now, so yeah, we're getting on.
But yeah, like I just think like, someone put a comment up the other day on one of our videos and was saying how Disney has like ruined Star Wars, and I thought to myself, like, I mean, I'm paraphrasing there, but Disney have given us so many good things with Star Wars, like so many, like only because you don't like one thing, like, and if you've got a just argument, I'll agree with you. Like, I can agree to disagree, or I can appreciate your opinion. But if you don't have a just argument, like cortosis shouldn't be a thing, like, well, unfortunately it is, and it's been around for ages. Only because you didn't know about it doesn't make it then not real. Um,
Right.
so like I think, yeah, yeah, I think I'm just fed up now.
Yeah, I agree. Disney haven't ruined Star Wars. Don't get me wrong; they've done some things I don't agree with. They've done some things I like. Some of the projects under Disney, or some of the things involved in those projects, elements of it I love, elements of it I don't love. I don't really like. But yeah, they've definitely not ruined Star Wars. They've actually given us some of the best Star Wars we've ever had,
I know.
ever.
The last episode, fantastic. One of the
Yeah,
best
some of the best
Star
Star
Wars
Wars.
things we've had.
Yeah, literally. What I will say is though, I think Disney have, in terms of their storytelling, I do think it has slipped in the last couple of years. But across the board, not just Star Wars. I'm mainly probably talking like Marvel and a few of the animation stuff under Pixar and whatnot, because they pretty much own every like, production company now. But mainly across Marvel, the stories have not been great in my opinion.
Do you think though that's because they're trying to push an agenda or not? Like, what's your stance on that?
What do you mean by gender?
Well, a lot of people saying that they're trying to push a lot of agendas, like a lot of like people moaning about the like. I mean, like I said, I don't want to get into it too much, but people are saying like, oh, they're pushing like this gay agenda. There's like lesbians, like,
Uh,
we're talking about like, what was the other Disney thing that they did the other year where what's she called, who lives in the sea with the little crab? Come on, you know her name.
I don't know her name, but you mean the Little Mermaid?
The Little Mermaid, right? That's the
I
one,
don't think
right?
we'll be talking about that today.
No, no, neither did I. But like in terms of Disney, like people brought up that and were saying like, you've cast the wrong actor, you've cast a person of color, like that's not right. Like, just get over it. It doesn't matter. Like, that doesn't even matter.
Yeah, I agree. And look, I want everything to be inclusive for everyone in life. That would be great. And it's good that more companies like Disney and stuff are doing that. It's great. But whilst they've been more inclusive over the last few years, especially, probably started with the Little Mermaid a few years ago. I think the storytelling has dropped, and there's no kind of correlation between that. Like, it doesn't matter, like, what someone's religion is, what color they are, ethnicity, blah blah blah. But I do think the standards, the storytelling over the last few years has dropped. So maybe, in my opinion, I think maybe they've tried to be, or they've tried pushing that inclusivity.
I don't want to sit on the fence with it,
Whilst at
right?
the same time, the storytelling has dropped. So you need a balance. You need to be in the middle.
Yeah.
Because if
And
you
that's
then
always going to come down to it.
yeah, because if you then start being not inclusive, like every person's white, for example, in everything they do, but the storytelling is amazing, you'll get people murdering saying, "Oh, you're not inclusive. Why is there no non-white people? Why is everybody a white American or white Brit?" And I get that, I agree. But then at the same time, if it goes the other way, where it's like inclusive, but the storytelling's dropped, again, it's not good. So you need to be in the middle.
Like you said, right? There's no correlation between like storytelling and having like being inclusive. You can't compare them because
I agree.
they're
I
not the
agree.
same thing. That's like comparing ice cream to a car. Like you can't do it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
My my only other thought is, right, this people keep talking about an agenda, and there's one thing that really bugs me, right? And someone said to me the other day, Star Wars isn't for kids. But when George Lucas made it, right, he made it and it was for kids, yeah? Adults like it, adult themes in it, don't get me wrong. So do cartoons, right? Look at The Simpsons for like, like there's lots of innuendos in it. Lots of kids cartoons, there's innuendos. Like lots of kids films, there's loads of innuendos, Lion King, etc. Right?
Yeah.
So things, even though they're made for children, they still have adult themes in them. Okay, Disney, who are known to make children's content, have took over Star Wars. So yes, they've took over other things, but they've taken over Star Wars and they do kids content. So obviously, if they've got a massive platform that can teach people something, then why wouldn't they use it? And if they're doing some things that are trying to push an agenda, as long as it's the right agenda, and I don't see anything wrong with that. They're not trying to spread hate. What's the problem?
Yeah, I agree. 100%. Yeah, and look, if anybody says Star Wars isn't for kids, well, George Lucas has always said it was for kids. Number one, but number two, if Star Wars isn't for kids, then why has there never been any R-rated Star Wars?
Well,
No
true.
Star Wars has been R-rated ever. It's always been like a PGU, like 12, 12 and
Yeah,
above, or 6 and above, whatever. Like, so
and then
therefore, it's for kids. I'd
yeah,
say the only Star Wars project that probably isn't for kids, it's probably on the verge of being R-rated, is Andor.
and I would agree with you. But even the
It's probably the
prequels, like even the prequels, right? There's scenes in there that are like drastic. Like Maul gets chopped in half. Do you know what I mean? Like Anakin gets his hand chopped off and gets burnt, set on fire. Like
yeah,
these
true.
aren't things that kids would watch, but it was the same as like the Harry Potter franchise. Like we grew up watching it, so we grew as it progressed. So we got older as that got older. So we kind of grew with it. So your audience will grow with the film, so the age can change slightly, right?
Yeah,
But in Disney, we don't see anything like that. Like this is probably the Acolyte is probably the darkest thing I think we've seen in Star Wars since Disney took over it, if my memory serves me well. Now, don't quote me on that, but we have seen some stuff. Like I know we didn't see anyone's heads get chopped off, but they definitely got chopped off behind that tree. Now our brains can tell us what happened there, right? We've seen 3 holes appear, like one in Jackie, like we've seen them,
R.I.P.
and
Yeah,
I know. And then the biggest one, like you mentioned the other week, like probably the darkest thing was
Yod. Yeah, oh, that was chilling. Oh, that was ruthless, savage. Yeah, that's probably that's R-rated content, really. Um, yeah, I agree. It probably is the darkest thing we've had in a while. But yeah, I agree, 100%. Can we talk about Sol, Master Sol?
no.
Can we?
We can. I'm joking.
Um, him and Qimir in particular, my two favourite characters in the show. Again, I think it was another outstanding performance from Sol. His acting, the scene where obviously him and Osha, well, it's him and May, but he thinks it's Osha at that point, or maybe he didn't. There was something wrong with the ship; it wouldn't start properly or whatever. It broke down. So then she went down to fix it. She came back up, and then Saul left her again, went back down, and he was just on screen. His face was just on screen, and he was just this pure emotion, and he like didn't say a word, but I just felt like everything he was like feeling. It was brilliant. Can we just give him his Emmy already? Because seriously, he's such a good actor, such a good actor. Enjoying that?
Yeah, it's just a lot of foam. Um, I know he is. It's phenomenal. Yeah, he is phenomenal. Like, and he's done so well. And this is, do you know what? I think we've had half-an-hour episodes, and it's still. And I really hope that whoever I read when I read it once, said that there is no emotion in these characters. I really wish they're eating the words now. And I hope it's not. I hope that's their honest thoughts. Like, I hope they actually honestly thought there was no emotion in the characters and that they were bland, because there is so much emotion, so mainly from Sol, but from a few of them, but Sol especially. Like, he is fantastic, and I hope he does. He needs to win something because he's done a fantastic portrayal, and I really hope that he's like doesn't. I hope they don't kill him off. I hope he stays in it forever.
Yeah,
he's like the modern day Qui-Gon Jinn.
he is. I think he will stay alive. I think he'll be. Well, I hope so. Anyway, if they kill him off, I won't. I don't think I'll watch season 2 if they make another one, because I'll be devastated. But yeah, he's brilliant. I love him. I can't wait to see him. And hopefully more lightsaber combat. Cannot wait to see that as well. But yeah, he's great. I love him. I think he's brilliant. Qimir as well. This was a very interesting episode with Qimir and Osha. Just quickly as well, sorry, just before we go to that, so on that scene with Sol, just talking about he works out, or he realizes that it isn't Osha and it's in fact May, and then he stuns her with a stun blaster. I didn't expect that to happen so quick. I thought it might be later in the episode or maybe the next episode, but he kind of worked out fairly quick. And then what do you think of that? Surprised with that? Not
yeah,
bad, just
I think it's this. I have the same thought process that I had when you mentioned that Osha suddenly changed sides. Not that Osha, May suddenly changed sides and was like, "I'm going to turn myself in." And you like, that happened so fast.
yeah.
I have the same thought process, mate. They're fitting this into 30 minutes. It caught me by surprise. I thought, meh, how the hell's he thought of that? Like, how's he even, like, how I can't fathom how he's realised who she is. Like, how?
I mean, he's a Jedi. They should be able to get in everyone's minds, right? So it makes sense.
Well, actually, apparently, if you recall, Qimir says to Sol, he says, take your mask off or something, he says to him, and he says, why? So you can read my thoughts. So Sol must be able to read people's thoughts.
For every Jedi can.
I don't know if they all can.
Or masters.
Maybe they can.
Well, he can't. Maybe. That Cortosis mask helmet. You can't do it with that helmet on. It's like indestructible.
Yeah, he's like Magneto. So I think he's like, I don't know if all Jedis can do it, or all Jedi Masters, but like I was saying, like, a couple of weeks ago we were talking about powers. Like, every Jedi has like a special ability that they're really in tune with. I was talking about the Dark Disciple book and how, oh my god, what's his name now? Why is it gone? You can see it's like 2 words. He touches things and he can just like sense them. He's in the Clone Wars. I'll tell you now. Quinlan Voss.
Oh yeah.
Right. And he has that ability where he can touch something and he gets all the memories back from it. Not every Jedi can do that. So that's why I think like maybe he's like one of the very few that can kind of read people's thoughts.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe that's how he knew, though.
Yeah, maybe. So yeah, what was I saying? I forgot what I was saying then. Before we went through that,
how he quickly.
Yeah, so that happened, and then we went back on the island with Osha and Cadman, aka the Stranger, and he didn't seem as
bad,
scary or bad or as villainous, if that's a word, as he was in episode 5, which I thought again was brilliant acting. Even though he clearly is a villain, but he was. And then I thought, there's something going on here. and then the bit where he pretty much, I think he did strip naked, and then he went into that pool. That's something Madeira, by the way, Portugal. FYI. Yeah, and one of the lines was, he said to her, because she was, I think maybe she grabbed his lightsaber at that point, I can't remember. But he said, if you're not going to join me, then I'd like to put my clothes back on. I was like, oh,
damn.
Okay. So we've gone from enemies to lovers. There's something going on there, I'm telling you.
Yeah, but I said this.
Because what did he mean by, if you're not going to join me? Did he mean that as in joining me in the dark side or in the water naked? Clearly
maybe
means water naked. Or maybe both, but yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's like, I definitely think it's both. I feel like he's saying it seductively, like that's it. Like he's saying, I thought you were going to join me. Subtextually, he's saying the dark side, but on the surface of the water, he means go and join me. You know?
Yeah, for sure. He also says a long time ago, and then he talks about the power of two. So like, right, he's clearly a former Padawan. He was clearly in the Jedi Academy, and he was clearly being taught by, I think, Vernestra and Sol, or both, because obviously there's still mystery behind. There's still something that either Vernestra's covering up, or Sol, or both. I think it is both, to be honest. I think they're both in it. And yeah, so he trained as a former Padawan, and I think we're going to find out what happened there, how he kind of led to this path. In this interview as well with Leslie Headland, the same interview with Collider, Leslie confirmed that is the case. It's not a red herring. And then she was asked, "Is this something that we should store for later?" And she said, "Yeah, you should store that for later." So that is true.
What, that he was a former Jedi?
Yeah. And then he also mentions the power of two, which is obviously referencing the Master and Apprentice hoo-ha with the Sith. Like the Sith are into.
Darth Bane.
Yeah. Or it could be a force dyad between Qimir and Osha, similarly to Rey and Kylo Ren in the sequels. Could be that, one or the other, which would make sense. What are your thoughts on that? There's definitely some kind of connection with Osha and Qimir.
I think it's a stronger connection.
Yeah. But I think he likes her as well. I think he fancies her. And I think she might be falling in love with him as well. Might be wrong, but
I don't know, because why would he fancy her and not her twin? Like, he doesn't even know her.
Say that about anyone. All twins look the same.
I know, but like personality-wise, like he doesn't know her. All he knows of her is that she shot him with a stun gun. That's it. And he stared into her soul, like, before he decided to say bye. Like, he doesn't really know her, but even in that stare, though, I said to you, there's definitely a relationship there. I said it like 3 episodes ago, that is definitely a relationship there. There's something going on.
What, with Kylo Ren?
Yeah.
I only saw it in this episode. I was like, oh, okay, that's where we're going.
But it was like, I mentioned this 3 episodes ago when he was staring. I said there's a relationship there, that there's no way he would have that intense stare and then not try and kill her, but just try and throw her out of the way so he can mess everybody else up. Like, there's no way.
I don't remember you saying that, and it wasn't 3 episodes ago, it was 2. That did episode 4, wasn't it?
Yeah, but including this one.
Including this one, okay. Yeah, I don't remember you saying that. I only kind of picked it up. It was only like obvious to me in this episode. It was definitely made more obvious anyway, deliberately, but I didn't really pick up on that. Any kind of connection between those two, but that's.
I didn't pick up on any like of that like sexual connection, but I picked up on the you know, there was a relationship, like some sort of there's something there that he's grabbing onto, and that, like you said, it might be that force. Was it forced dyad? Did you say?
Force
Could be that.
Diaries, the same between Rey and
Yeah.
Solo, aka Kylo Ren.
What I did love though about those scenes was whenever you create a villain, I feel like what made Vader so good was, I mean, he was great anyway. Don't I'm not taking that away from the originals, but what made him even more investable as a villain was the fact that we've seen him become from who he was to where he got to,
Yeah.
because there was likable factors about him, and then what now, like he's renowned, but like we know so much more about him that some people, you can relate to him, you can understand his emotions and his emotional thinking, like you can understand how he makes his decisions and why he makes the decisions. A good villain, you will always be able to not so much like relate to, but you'll be able to understand why they do something. And I feel like with Qimir at the minute, he's building those blocks, those foundation blocks to say, actually, he's not a bad guy. Something bad's happened to him and he's reacted that way. Like he's doing this because he doesn't believe in what the Jedis believe. And the Jedis technically are just a religious order that think this is how you should do things. Obviously, he's known as like a bad guy, he's got a red lightsaber, but sometimes, he might even have a genuine reason as to why he's doing something.
Yeah, well, we thought that about May, didn't we? At the start, we thought there's a reason why she's the way she is. But this segues perfectly into my next note. So, there was another line by Qimir. He said, "The Jedi teach there's only one way to access the Force. If you don't do it their way, it fades." I thought that was a brilliant line. And basically, so I put many of his critiques of the Jedi Order mirror those of Luke's in The Last Jedi. Both recognise the monopoly and ownership of the Force the Jedi assume to have, because they basically want to control everybody that uses the Force, and it has to
come
be
up with that yourself.
It has to be done their way.
Hey,
you didn't listen to what I said, did you?
yeah, I did listen. It has to be done their way. You're saying how Luke did. Luke said it in the prequels, like, and he was very, and that's why I said, did you make that note yourself?
The first part, no. Well, the line was from the Acolyte. The second part, about the critiques, yeah, I wrote that. Why, do you not have me down as an intellectual?
No, but that's genius. The fact that you picked up on that, I think, is phenomenal. That's mad.
It's just what we've been saying the last couple of weeks. The Jedi, they think the Force is monopolized by them, and they control the Force, and it has to be done their way, whether it's good or bad. They say it as good, which it is. The Snatch Kids. They see it as, you're not allowed to use the Force any other way but this way.
Mm.
So, yeah, they think they're a monopoly, and it's.
They've got that like sense of grandeur, aren't they? They think they are the all powerful. Like they think that no one else can challenge their authority, and that's what I think. And I remember Leslie Headland talking about this before they released the Acolyte, and she was saying how, it's going to change like people's opinions or slightly. They want to kind of cast a shadow over the Jedi's, and kind of, or a light over the Jedi's in a sense, and reveal some of the not so good things that they actually do.
Yeah, 100%.
And even Qimir in the last episode, episode 5, when he says, I can't remember the quote exactly. We mentioned it though, and he says like, because I can't practice, you would call me a Sith, because you won't. He says something like, you won't allow me to do this, like. And I'm like, wow, that's true, like, because they don't follow a certain regime, therefore they are wrong. Ironic.
Yeah, it's interesting. we'll go back to Qimir in a minute. Can we just quickly talk about Vernestra
Oh yeah.
and the light whip, which was great. It looked great, and she killed one of those flying creatures, horrible things on Kofar because her and the team went looking for Soul basically.
But they love the light, don't they? So they must have seen it reflecting off a
Yeah.
gorgeous bald green head.
Yeah. I was hoping for more. I hope we see more of the light whip. I don't think we will. I think that'll be it. And
I think that's it.
I'm a bit gutted and disappointed about that, to be honest.
Same. I mean, do you know what? They didn't need to include it, and now they've made it canon, and I think that's the whole point. So, like, we've seen a little bit of
really
it.
Cool, but I want to see more of it. I want to see it in
Same.
action.
Yeah, we do. And do you know what? I agree. Like, I think that's all we're going to see. And what we seen was what was exactly in the trailer. The only thing we didn't see was the extra shot of the bug falling on the floor. That's it. But we see her go whoosh, and whip it, and then it goes, and that's it. It's done.
It was sick how she did it. Yeah, it was sick. The way she used
we only seen the shot.
Yeah, it was sick. But the way she used the force to grab a lightsaber, I love shots like that. I love it. Ever since I saw the best shot of someone doing that for me was Yoda against Count Dooku. When he walks in, he takes his robe off, and then I love that. I love that scene. It was similar to that. So yeah, she killed that flying bug. It dropped, and then that was it. And I was like, I mean, I didn't expect her to find or see anybody else. I didn't expect to have a battle there and then because every door left. Kanaka's dead. They're all dead. Obviously, her and the team, they found Jackie and Yord dead. R.I.P. But yeah, I hope we see more of the light whip in other seasons if they do make any, and I hope they do because yeah, really cool. Really cool. I'm glad it's kind of been canonised.
Yeah.
But only if we see more. Otherwise, it's pointless. It was just pointless putting it in.
There's talks of Vernestra's apprentice. Have you seen?
What do you mean?
People just saying how much they really liked him. They want more of him.
Oh yeah, yeah, it was alright. Yeah.
I don't think it was enough. I feel like he's going to be a standout character. Though. I feel like if they make a season 2, they're going to be the main characters in it, and I think they're going to probably pull more from them both.
Yeah, well, I read that he isn't actually her apprentice.
No.
I don't think she currently has one. I'm not sure. Okay. I think Sol. She taught Sol.
So Sol was her apprentice, but not anymore.
Yeah, I don't know if she has one now. I'm pretty sure I read that he's that kid. That guy wasn't actually her apprentice. Or maybe she has a few. Maybe she has a few. Google it. Do a quick Google now.
I was trying to find him, but I typed it in and it started giving me apprentice jobs.
What did you type in? Vernestra Row Apprentice?
I just typed in Vernestra Apprentice.
Do Vernestra Acolyte Apprentice. See what comes up.
Yeah, actually, that's a better one, isn't
it? Apprentice jobs. It would have been funny if it sent you to The Apprentice as well. Oh, funny.
Oh, I've seen a video. It says Qimir's former master revealed in Acolyte episode 6.
Well. Was Qimir taught by Vernestra? That's a nice little segue into something I want to talk about now. And it also links the light whip.
Let's go for it. I'm struggling to find this.
You're struggling? Let me know.
I'm struggling. There's too much information for me to scroll through and find. But yeah. Well, I'm sure I'll find it at some point. But let's segue while we can, I guess.
Right. So, just before, as Qimir was stripping naked before he got into the pool, what did you notice that was on his back?
Scars.
Or like a big scar that was like curved and it was kind of like.
I have no idea. I just had a guess and I thought it's definitely.
It's got one long big scar. It's not a straight scar, and it looks like a scar. That was done.
Looks like a scar.
It looks like a scar. It's a scar.
Oh my god! By a whip.
Light whip.
Oh,
Was
that's
it
it.
was it Vernestra back in the day? Did she punish him for being a bad little Padawan?
Wow.
That's the link.
Maybe.
There's something in that. That scar is definitely from her light whip, 1,000,000%.
Do you reckon? I mean, it could be. It could
She's
be.
the evil one. She's the bad guy in this. She's the villain.
Do you know what though? It could be so. You don't know. That's the whole thing, and that's like, there's no way every single Jedi in the Jedi Order is pure, and that's one thing. Like that's why I loved Qui-Gon Jinn, because with him, realistically, like, people call him a great Jedi, but realistically, like, he's he's like, he knows that he's good and he knows that he's bad, and he's not wholeheartedly like, I'm a good Jedi. Like, he will do things, like, he saved a child from slavery and then enslaved them. Like, he's not he's not purely good, but his ends justify his means, right? And he just turns to the light side because he's a good person realistically. So he turns to the light because it's there, because he's a good person.
Yeah.
But some of the decisions he makes aren't, like, he cheats he cheats, doesn't he, and stuff. Like, he just,
Yeah.
you know. And that's what I think. That's what I like about Qui. I think that's why he's a standout character, and that's what I like. Like, Leslie Headland's kind of doing that with people now, but she's like, not everyone is in the Jedi Order are pure and genuine.
Correct.
And do you know what? I think you're onto something there. I'd actually want her to be like, she's the Palpatine. You know, when someone said the other day, like, everyone thinks Qimir is the bad guy, but he's the Darth Maul. I hope she's the Palpatine. Not that they've got a relationship, like she's telling him what to do, but as a character, I feel like she's the pure bad person. I like that. I really like that theory.
Yeah. Well, I reckon her and Qimir back in the day had like a falling out. Maybe they had a fight, and it was the scar is from her. Because when Saul says to him in episode 5, I think, or maybe the last episode, he said, or at the start of one of the other episodes, Saul basically says, I sense something. He senses something familiar about Qimir.
Yep.
So that scar could be the thing that he's sensing. Maybe he knows about that from back in the day, but he's not quite sure who it is. But he thinks it. Yeah, there's gonna be. I mean, yeah. I mean, this show keeps you guessing. It keeps you questioning things. Yeah, and I'm loving it now. To be honest, I think it's a thrill. And even though there's only 2 episodes left, I still think there's loads to unpack. And yeah, I think there's something in that between Vernestra, Sol, and him. There's definitely something happened, which we're going to find out in the flashback scene episode, which I think will be the next one, by the way.
I agree. I think it has
something
to
happened there for sure. And then I think the
but
finale.
I still think that's.
Go on.
Sorry, I just think that's a flashback to the fire, because don't forget, we still got to see Tobin and.
I think it's that time. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. I think it might be another one.
No hair, Naka. You know what I mean?
No hair. It's growing back now.
It's gone there. It's in. Only took 2 weeks, but
I've got a feeling that the next flashback scene or episode won't be to do with the witches, I think, or Osha and May. I think it's going to be completely different. I think it's going to be a new planet. It's going to be completely different. It's going to be like, I think it's going to be Chimir's planet, homeworld. It's going to be something about that, yeah. But then at the same time, why would Karnaka and Thorbin be fighting? Unless one of them was under the witch's spell, for example. So I don't. Yeah, there's still loads to unravel yet. It is a mystery.
But why wouldn't Vernestra be on his hit list? There was only 4 on that hit list.
Well, it's not his hit list, is it? It's Osha's.
I don't know if it is.
That's a good point. You might be right there. You might have done something yourself.
And that's why I think he was there.
You might be right. But yeah, I think they're the highlights. That's pretty much everything I wanted to go through. Anything else for you before we kind of
No, man. I feel like it's a wrap up time. I'm definitely not going to think about that. Like, remember the question I wanted to ask you. I'm devastated now. I'm gutted. I thought it was a really good question. Obviously not.
It might be, probably is. When it comes to you next week, write it down and we'll go through it for sure.
I'll rewatch where I was up to and try and realise what I was saying, and then I'll be like, oh, and hopefully it'll have some relevance.
For sure. But yeah, no, overall, thought it was a good episode. I really enjoyed it. Can't wait for the last 2 episodes. I'm really gutted that it's coming to a close. I really do hope they do more seasons because I'm really enjoying it now and I cannot wait for the next episode and for the finale. But yeah, what are you expecting? Do you think then next week will be the flashback episode and the finale after in episode 8, or what are your thoughts?
Well, I don't know. I mean, every time I try to suggest something like this, like in terms of what's going to come next, I've kind of got the flashback scenes wrong. There's a couple of things they can do. They can add a flashback in now, or they can tie up loose ends in the last episode with a flashback, and then have halfway through, and it might just be a 5-minute flashback, and then maybe Sol will tell her what's happened. But I feel like currently you've got May strapped down to that chair. Sol wants to talk about what's happened. We're going to go into a flashback next episode, and then we're gonna see a different side to him completely. So
interesting. Yeah, I tend to agree. It's going to be.
And it's going to have something to do with Qimir for sure.
Yeah, many %. I can't wait to find out. I'm excited, man. Excited. Yeah, should be hopefully 2 really good last episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I hope the finale is epic. I'm sure it will be, but yeah.
I hope it is. We'll have to watch it. We'll do it together. We'll watch it. You have to come down.
Yes, we'll get our slippers, pen and paper.
Yeah. Yeah. We get the special socks on.
Yes. You know what? Funny enough, I wore the other day. I wore some Christmas Star Wars Christmas socks. And I don't think I've worn them since Christmas. It's now July. I'm thinking, what am I doing? But really comfortable. I love them. Yeah, just thought I'd tell everyone.
Lovely. You're one of them.
Mentioned socks. I just thought, oh, actually, got a story.
Oh, Christmas socks in July.
Have you got any Star Wars socks?
Yeah, I've got 3.
3 pairs? Or just 3 socks?
My ex bought me them. I've got Boba Fett. I've got Kylo Ren. And I've got Vader.
Nice.
Wasn't to be fair, they're nice.
Don't have a clue what mine are. I've got a few pairs, but they're all
just Christmas.
Yeah,
just Star Wars Christmas socks.
I think I've got some big.
Anyway.
Anyway.
What do we need to say?
I don't know. What do we need to say?
Well, we need to say,
guys. Are you making an announcement?
I'm going to make an announcement because I thought I was trying to hand it over to you, but I'll do it anyway. Don't forget to subscribe.
Yes.
Don't forget to click the like button. Don't forget to click the notification button.
Yes.
And do not forget to comment. Please comment and let us know your thoughts on everything that we've discussed going forward. Obviously, you can follow us on at the Mancalorians, and you can follow us on YouTube. You can follow us on TikTok. You can follow us on Instagram, and also speak to us on X as well, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Give us a message on there. That seems to be booming at the minute. Give us your thoughts. Same as Twitter, we're getting a little bit of traction, so please just get on there. Give us your thoughts on some of the videos that we put up. And also, if you're listening to us, drop us an email if you want to discuss anything, or you can obviously jump onto those socials and speak to us there as well. We are on Facebook. You can jump on there and give us a like, and obviously message us directly if you want to.
What's our email address again? Remind everyone.
It is the Mancalorians@gmail.com.
Boom.
Thank you. I'm glad I got that right.
You did. But yeah, we appreciate all the support so far. Thanks for all the messages we've had, especially on Twitter recently. Really do appreciate it. Our brand seems to be growing across the socials, mainly on TikTok and Twitter. So yeah, we really do appreciate your support. But for now, thanks for joining us, and we will catch you next time.
And I'm going to say adios, and here's my aim retarding liquid.